Hello craft lover, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to combine two beautiful art forms, that's beading and the traditional kente cloth. Kente, we all know, is a rich and vibrant fabric with deep cultural significance, and by adding beads we are going to elevate its beauty even the more. So grab your materials and let's get started on this exciting journey of blending tradition with creativity. I'm using 10 strands of bicons and each is about 14 inches long. Also, fish line 0.3, a beading needle. It is very slim, slimmer than the usual needle we know, and a scissors as a tool. For this project, I am going to use the running stitches method of sewing. I'll take a good amount of the fish line, enough for me to have a control over, not one end, and pass the other end through the needle. The stitches I'm going to make will not be visible through the lining, so everything will be done on the kente. I'll insert the needle into the kente downward as you see, though I am going to sew upward. I will pull the fish line and string a bead. The bead would cover the knot that I made earlier on. Next, I will push the needle back down through the kente at a short distance away from the bead to form a straight line on the surface of the kente. I will be using a bead at a time. You may also want to sketch a pattern if you are new to this type of project, but for me this is not my first time and the kente too is patterned, so I use that pattern as a guide. The pattern, because of the sewing, is not straight, but with experience I'm going to make an imaginarily straight line to fit the style or design. Throughout the project, I'm going to use the same number of beads. I will be consistent. I will not reduce nor add. For me, beading is not just a craft that demands both patience and precision. It has also taught me that there is no shortcut in life and is also therapeutic. This is because each bead placed feels like a step closer to completing something beautiful, but there is no rushing the process. And the focus it requires makes it almost meditative, allowing me to be in the moment. And as I said already, it is therapeutic. Anytime I am anxious or super angry, I bead to calm my nerves. What do you do to calm yours? As you can see, each bead is resting beautifully and peacefully on the kente. They are not stiff, because if you make it stiff, at the end of the day, the cover or the top or whatever you are sewing on to would be very stiff and the beauty or the style would be affected. If you are observing closely, you will realize that I am not sewing side by side against the first layer. So the next layer is filling the gap in between the first layer. Do not forget to subscribe like, and also share. With the first fish line I cut, this is how far I could come with it. So I'm going to end this line and start with a new one. So this is how I do it. I'm going to form a loop and pass the thread through the loops severally and pull to tighten the knot. So I'll do this repetitively. My number is on the screen. Feel free to chat me on WhatsApp should you come across any difficulty, or if you have any video idea, you can reach me on the number. I'll also put it in the description box. So I've started with a new fish line. And as I began, that's how I am going to continue. Although the needle I am using is super thin, the thread still couldn't go through the hole, so I used my teeth to flatten the tip or the end before I could thread it. You may want to try with a normal needle, but note that the holes in the beads are mostly not even, and so you wouldn't want to be threading 4 beads seamlessly, then another bead will give you a problem. You have to change the bead, keep changing the bead. That is why it's advisable to use this type of needle. I'm measuring because this is a tutorial, and the part I am working on is the breast area. So I have to find a way to still come out with another design or form a different pattern to make it still beautiful. Kente is heavy, and I didn't want to add more beads to make it more heavier. And for the 2 breast areas, I used 20 strands, so 10 strands for each part. In my next upload, we are going to continue with the other sections of the design or of the dress. As I stated earlier, I made sure that the lining was intact. The stitches are not visible on the lining. Because I'm not into full-time beading, I completed this after 3 sittings of about 2.5 hours each. Do you now understand why we charge that much? Until I grace your screens again with another tutorial, beloved, remember to keep hope alive.